Due to the graphic nature of this program, viewer discretion is advised. Everyone makes mistakes, but some people are dumb enough to make them on camera. Four clueless cowboys play cards in a bull ring until this fellow horns in on the game. A careless contractor tries to topple a chimney, but brings down the whole house instead. A dim-witted diver runs out of food, so this stingray takes a bite out of him. A toll bridge operator falls asleep at the switch and proves his waterway is a real rip-off. And when a ditzy daredevil bolts a jet engine to his car, he takes stupid behavior to new heights. If it's off the wall and it's on tape, then it's all here. It's totally outrageous behavior.
Daredevil Ken Powers is about to attempt the craziest stunt of his career. He plans to break the world record for the longest jump by shooting his car across the St. Lawrence River from Canada to New York, a distance of over 1 mile.
I always liked the state of New York, so I'm sure I hope they like me when I get there.
So he builds an 85-foot ramp and straps a super-powered rocket jet to his car. Even today, Ken insists it was a great plan.
You could put a rocket in an elephant's back end, and it's going to go whichever way it's aimed at 400 miles an hour.
Using these precise calculations, Ken diligently prepares for the big moment.
I had been in the car, but I'd never driven it.
That's right. Evidently, Ken had plenty of time to strap an aircraft engine on the back of his car, but he just couldn't find 10 minutes to test it.
Go, do it now!
Ken fastens himself in, revs the engine, gives the signal, and he's off. Ken rockets down the runway at 180 miles per hour, and his incredible jet car disintegrates in midair. The good news is Ken's got 6 parachutes. The bad news is 5 of them are tangled up.
I know what goes up has to come down, and I'm seeing chutes blow off, and I'm thinking, are there any left?
Thankfully, the one functioning chute manages to right the car just before he lands gently in the water.
God knows what it would have done upside down. I mean, they might still be looking for my eyeballs.
So what went wrong with the jump? It couldn't have been the top-notch equipment.
The chutes were wrong. The ramp was wrong. The car was wrong. It wasn't stable.
Evidently, neither was Ken for trying a lame-brain stunt like this. The shaken stuntman suffered a few broken bones, but after a little vacation in the Bahamas, he was good as new.
It actually took me about 4 months where I could really walk good.
Ken may not have broken a world record, but when it comes to stupid behavior, he's off the charts. This master craftsman is trying to teach his apprentice how to demolish a chimney. The trainee tries to knock it into the yard. But Mr. Fix-It insists that they topple the chimney onto the roof instead. When his pupil hesitates, the boss decides to finish the job on his own. And he's floored by the results. This foolish roofer can't blame anyone but himself. Because in this demolition derby, it's clear he's the only fall guy. It's a beautiful day to sail down the Welland Canal, the commercial waterway between Thunder Bay and Lake Ontario. The captain of the wind dock knows that nothing can stand in the way of this peaceful voyage. Except maybe a 5,000-ton drawbridge. The idiot operating the elevated bridge isn't paying attention and lowers it onto the wind dock, shearing off the wheelhouse and smokestacks. Miraculously, the ship's crew escapes with seconds to spare. Once the bridge operator notices his little faux pas, he raises the bridge, thankful that things can't get any worse. Or can they? Flaming oil pours from the ruptured fuel tanks onto the deck. And now 44,000 tons of wheat in the belly of the ship are on fire. The bridge and the ship will cost over $10 million to repair. An investigation reveals the bridge operator went to work after enjoying a half a bottle of wine and some painkillers. Perhaps he didn't know that a 5,000-ton drawbridge qualifies as that heavy machinery you're not supposed to operate while medicated. But after lowering the boom on this boat, Mr. Tipsy will only be allowed to play bridge, not control one. This is former South Carolina State running back number 28, Ronald Gohagen.
My nickname is Go-Go.
Go-Go's mom always told him to wear clean underwear in case he got into an accident. But she never saw this coming. During a tackle, an opposing player grabs the waistband of Ron's athletic supporter.
He just reached to basically grab what he could, and he ended up grabbing my jersey as well as my jockstrap.
Undaunted, Go-Go leaves a trail of thread all over the field.
The tailback, I got to the huddle and he started laughing, said, "Man, you look like a mummy unraveling."
But the loss of yarn doesn't faze Go-Go. He barely notices the pesky 10 yards of string. Finally, an alert referee tears off Ronald's threads, but he's not unstrung.
You need to work hard and continue to run and run hard until you run out of your jock. So literally, I ran out of my jock.
One thing is certain, next time Ronald Gohagen suits up for the big game, he'll double check to make sure that his jockstrap is first string. Sisters Terry and Suzanne discover an intruder has entered their home. They both fear for their lives. The sisters bravely prepare for battle.
I need my helmet and my shield on.
Terry's cautious husband, Scott, stays safely behind the camera. They've cornered the fiend in the bathroom. Now they must find the courage to look their attacker in the eye. It's a baby bird.
When it's flipping around and flying around, it was like it was a huge pterodactyl or something coming after them.
Thought it was gonna get me.
Finally, the not-so-dynamic duo realizes they're out of their league.
How are we going to catch it?
I don't know.
So they call the fire department.
Yeah, they had him out in no time at all, really. We'd done all the hard work.
To look back at it now, we look really, really silly.
Seems when it comes to birds, these flighty sisters are just big chickens.
Coming up, this groom promised to have and to hold. He just didn't hold on long enough. Plus, these pea-brain poker players better know when to hold them, know when to fold them, and know when to run. And this man's classic T-Bird doesn't have a scratch on it. Until his daughter forgets how to find reverse. And later, a moronic motorist bends over backwards to get out of a traffic ticket. When totally outrageous behavior continues.
Amateur stuntman Barry Goldstein likes making his own movies. And today he's shooting a little something he calls Let's Drag Barry from a Truck.
It's gonna hurt.
Because he'll be pulled across rocks and asphalt, Barry has on 9 layers of clothing, plus some high-tech protective gear.
I had a plastic pad, and I also had a styrofoam cooler lid.
With his foot tied securely to the bumper, Barry gives the go-ahead. The truck kicks into gear, pulling Barry off his feet and dragging him across the field. Looks like the stunt is working. That is until Barry's backside hits the asphalt at 25 miles an hour.
As soon as I hit the road, I realized, uh-oh, this could go very wrong. Within 50 feet, it had gone through all 9 layers and was starting to eat into my skin.
Oh, my back! Oh!
Fortunately, he suffered only a minor case of road rash.
Oh, that's what you call hot seat.
But why didn't the truck stop when Barry started screaming?
I had told them that when I start yelling, don't worry about it. It's just for the skit.
As for Barry's video, it's earning mixed reviews.
Some people think it's cool, and other people think it's stupid.
Stupid? Now what would give them that idea?
Oh, my back! Oh!
Jimmy Clark marries his bride Eva in a Western-style wedding. The ceremony goes off without a hitch. That is, until their limo turns out to be a horse. Unfortunately, Jimmy forgot to tell Eva not to wear heels. And when she accidentally digs those stiletto spikes into the horse's belly, it decides to gallop into the sunset. Looks like this bride got dumped on her own wedding day. Luckily, her bustle took the brunt of the fall. Eva warned her husband that if he tried this stunt again, there'd be no horsing around on their honeymoon.
Right on the set.
They're shooting a television commercial for a car dealership in Arizona, featuring a family of real-life customers.
Action. My dad bought this car from Don Sanderson Ford 30 years ago. David Kimberly worked on the lube rack then. My daughter just bought this new Taurus.
Too bad she doesn't know how to drive it.
A lot of changes at Don Sanderson Ford. Look, new cars.
Now this T-Bird owner is teed off. Seems this amateur actress doesn't take direction well. At least when it comes to forward and reverse. These actors won't have a chance to chew up the scenery. It's burning up instead. A stage light has ignited the curtain, but rather than stop and dial 911, the performers feel the show must go on. This amateur Astaire tries to tap out the flames, but he can't seem to dance to save his life. The music keeps playing as the last bit of scenery burns away. But at least this cut-rate chorus boy can say that for once in his life, he lit up the stage. This burglar has just broken into the warehouse of a clothing store. But before he steals their pants, he takes off his own. Then he does something even stranger. He stands in front of an industrial-strength fan and does a little dirty dancing. Better not get too close. Fortunately, he stops in the nick of time and continues to clean out the store. But breaking the law is hard work. So the overheated thief decides to drop his drawers and cool off once more. There's a problem, though. He's wasted so much time that he's given the cops plenty of time to arrive on the scene. Guess this criminal learned his lesson. Never to rob a strip mall again. There's nothing more relaxing than a friendly little game of cards. But wait until you see Jason Guard and his pals play. In this game, the winner is the last man sitting at the table.
If you sit there at the table and don't move, you win the money.
What's so stupid about that? Check out who's joining the game.
That's 2,000 pounds of horns and hair running around the arena, wanting to hit anything in its path.
This is bull poker. Since Jason's been hit once, he's supposed to leave, but he dumbly decides to stay in the game. The bull gets ready for another run. And guess who he hits? His favorite, Jason.
Definitely didn't like my outfit.
This bull really wants to join the game, but there's not an empty seat. There is now. After a trouncing like this, Jason will certainly crawl to safety. Certainly not.
It was probably not the smartest thing to do.
Jason must be a slow learner because the bull singles him out over and over. Finally, this poker player is ready to fold.
I'm retired from bull poker forever. If it is a sport, it's a stupid sport. The bull always wins.
When this card shark decided to go head-to-head with the bull, he wasn't playing with a full deck.
Up next, after this sunbather hits the bottle, she learns there's nothing worse than a champagne headache. Plus, a foolish farmer discovers that removing a post is not all it's cracked up to be. Then later, a dim-witted daredevil learns that only Superman can leap tall buildings in a single bound. When totally outrageous behavior continues.
In Largo, Florida, two cops grill a suspected drunk driver. Wisely, the motorist decides to cooperate. But before he walks the line, he gets cute with the camera.
Hi, Mom.
Then, carefully, he makes his way down the yellow line. So far, so good. Looks like he's happily off the hook. So he does a little dance. He's so sure he's convinced the cops he's sober, he jumps for joy. He should have quit while he was ahead. So with the help of the officers, he's finally able to walk a straight line, directly to the cruiser. So remember, if the police try to put you to the test, don't flip out. This happy family is spending the day on their beautiful new boat. And this bikini-clad beauty has the honor of christening the craft.
Now christening, just add water.
But the bubbly just won't break. Maybe it's not the first time today she's been hitting the bottle. She tries to loosen the cork, but the top just won't pop. But the pressure inside the bottle is building. And finally, she gets christened instead of the boat.
Hey, did the cord nail you in the face?
She's okay, but she's giving up the bottle for good. This man wants to remove an unsightly post from his property. But instead of simply digging it up, this genius thinks breaking the post will be less of a pain. Unfortunately, it's not. He got too pushy. And now he's all wet. At an auto show in Detroit, some car company executives demonstrate that the back of their minivan can hold 4 adults. But although 4 can get in, it seems they can't get out. Looks like these businessmen know everything about their car, except how to unlock the door. Eventually, they're able to exit without calling a locksmith. This company claims their doors are childproof, and it's safe to say they're idiot-proof too.
You know that wasn't planned.
To fulfill his dream of swimming with stingrays, this bozo brought along a little bait. And before long, he's providing lunch for an entire school of the hungry sea creatures. Unfortunately, the man runs out of food by the time this straggler shows up. But not to worry. The starving stingray soon finds something else to munch on. At least this guy will have a funny story to tell his kids. If he's still able to have any. This man has designed a device that prevents trucks from backing into pedestrians.
Very confident. I have done this quite a few times, and it does stop.
In this demonstration, the big rig rolls closer as the cocky inventor smiles for the camera. He's confident that this newly equipped truck will make quite an impression. And he's right. Now, instead of going to the patent office, he'll be going to the doctor's office.
Coming up next, when this brainless biker tries to ramp up his career, he hits a brick wall. When totally outrageous behavior continues.
This guy doesn't have stupid written all over him, but he's got just about everything else. He's Flush Fernandez, BMX stuntman extraordinaire. And on this fateful Southern California afternoon, he's constructed this impressive ramp to launch him into the record books.
I personally build my own ramps, and this one was, I know, the right one to get up on that.
After months of meticulous planning, Flush is going to jump onto the roof of this apartment building.
Here to bust the big one, show him what's up.
First, he takes a couple of practice passes. With his speed and power, this is going to be a cinch. But then Flush has a flash of brilliance. He decides to tie a rope to the back of his buddy's van. After all, going faster will make him fly even higher. Finally, he's ready. The van speeds down the street with Flush in tow. He takes a deep breath and flies into the side of the building.
First thing I know, I'm in the air. Next thing I know, I'm slamming in the side of the building.
Luckily, a large cactus cushions his 25-foot fall. Remarkably, he's able to walk away. How could this brilliant plan have gone south?
I had no preparations. I just do the most outrageous stunts that anybody's ever seen in their life.
And how did this outrageous stunt look from his point of view? Let's check out his helmet cam. At least one thing is for sure. If he's smart, he'll never try a crazy stunt like this again.
I swear that I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it by this summer.
Due to the graphic nature of this program, viewer discretion is advised. Everyone makes mistakes, but some people are dumb enough to make them on camera. A first-time skydiver deploys his parachute. Too bad it's not attached. This musclehead learns the hard way that pumping iron can be a real headache. A dim-witted gator wrestler sticks his nose where it doesn't belong. An absent-minded Navy man forgets to duck. And he's sucked into the engine of a jet plane. And a careless elephant keeper gets a little behind in his work. If it's off the wall and it's on tape, then it's all here. It's totally outrageous behavior.
Stan and Diane Fraser's Ursa, Illinois farm is the picturesque embodiment of the American dream. Except for one oversized eyesore. A rundown cement block silo. So for his wife Diane's birthday, Stan decides to demolish the massive structure. But instead of hiring a professional, he decides this crop of geniuses can easily get the job done. Stan ties a chain to the silo and tries to pull it down. But so far, the only thing destroyed is his confidence. So Stan decides to knock it over by driving his tractor into the concrete structure. A simple push should finish off the job. But no. Looks like it may have finished off Stan instead. The silo falls the wrong way, bombarding him with bricks and cement. Diane runs to his side. But thanks to Stan's thick skull, he's just fine.
Yeah, I had mortar in my pockets and concrete in my pockets, and part of bricks was in my pockets, and how it ever got there, I don't know.
It is puzzling. A family gathers to celebrate Dad's new raise, but he's sitting a little too close to the fireplace. And now that paycheck is burning a hole in his pocket. Luckily, he finds a seat in a nearby bathtub that's more to his liking. This working stiff has always been a good provider for his family. But he never thought he'd have money to burn. When Mark Vaughn locked himself out of the house, he got stuck trying to shimmy down the chimney. Luckily, the fire department arrived in the nick of time. After hours of hitting the bricks, rescue workers finally free the trapped man. How did Mark's foolproof plan go so wrong?
I'm kind of pudgy when I got down there, and the opening looked like I would be able to get through it. And next thing I know, I was stuck like Chuck.
But incredibly, the tight squeeze resulted in a rare moment of clarity.
I was all the way down to the bottom. Then I realized.
What could his mind-blowing revelation possibly have been?
I'm stupid.
No. And what else did Mark learn on his little adventure?
Listen to your mother-in-law. Don't climb down chimneys. And probably that I need to lose weight.
And maybe carrying a spare key isn't a bad idea either. "15-year-old Randy Lyon sets up his video camera and prepares to perform a stunt on his new ATV. He wants to show the girls at school how tough he really is. But it turns out Randy's got a sensitive side, too. Thankfully, Randy has no broken bones, no sprains. In fact, hardly even a scratch. The only thing hurt is his pride.
I thought it was kind of embarrassing, but I don't know, anybody else would have cried too, so even though I wasn't really crying.
Eventually, Randy pulls himself together. But when his mother sees the tape, she lays down the law.
The rule is no riding without someone with you, and now we really enforce that rule.
Well, someone ought to tell Randy, because there he goes. Although he disobeys his parents, the young daredevil has learned a valuable lesson from the experience. If he wants girls to flip over him, he's going to have to toughen up. This bodybuilder is trying to get all pumped up. But when the tough guy in tights develops a weight problem, he's headed for trouble. Looks like Hercules here can't perform under pressure. Hopefully for him, there's a first aid kit in this cabinet. Because his workout didn't work out.
Coming up, when totally outrageous behavior continues. A foolhardy farmer gets caught with his pants down. Plus, when a first-time skydiver hits the wrong cord, he doesn't deploy his chute, he loses it. A drunk skateboarder's first move is a knockout. And later, a reptile wrangler gets too close to a crocodile smile. When totally outrageous behavior returns.
First-time skydiver Scott Lutz leaps from the plane in perfect form. If he's scared, he doesn't show it, because he wants to look good for the camera. But the amateur daredevil is so focused on his close-up that he doesn't pay attention when the instructors remind him how to open his chute. So when the moment of truth arrives, he pulls the wrong cord, releasing his entire pack. And now he's spinning out of control. Luckily, the absent-minded student remembers one lesson: how to deploy his reserve chute. So, with his terrifying experience behind him, Scott floats safely down to Earth. Thankful he lived through the worst experience of his life. Okay, second worst. Unfortunately, his mid-air blunder set him way off course and into a 10,000-volt power line. Scott survived the electrifying ordeal, but hopefully next time he takes the plunge, he won't pull something like this. Some people will do anything to lose weight. Anything except diet. Like this woman. She puts on a cheap weight loss belt and plugs in. Looks like she got her wires crossed. She breaks the circuit, but the gut-wrenching girdle continues to emit a charge. Her little brother must be used to her stupid behavior because this light show doesn't even spark his interest. Maybe next time, instead of electrical power, she'll try willpower. For a high-profile magazine ad, a foolish photographer decided it would be a good idea to wax the woman instead of the car. But now she's losing her grip.
Can you hold still for a minute? Great, that's great.
The cameraman can't hide his frustration.
No, stay there, don't move. Stay there, stay there, stay there.
Maybe he should just let it slide. The human hood ornament tries to hold on, but it's no use.
Yeah, I think we'll call it a wrap, and I think maybe we shouldn't oil you down next time.
That's the last time this photographer will ever shoot a slick ad like this. When a foolish rancher tries to relieve himself in an empty field, he runs into a frisky donkey. The lovesick creature lunges at the bare-butt beauty, who desperately tries to fend off its advances. Seems this critter's feeling romantic. The farmer tries to escape, but the donkey won't give up. You'd think the farmer would understand its need to sow its wild oats. Finally, the sexy beast makes its move and gets the man right where it wants him. No need to saddle up. This burro rides bareback. This country boy learned the hard way that when it comes to love, a stubborn donkey can make an ass out of you.
Hey, buddy.
Meet Bobby Black.
Bobby Black. I'm just from West Virginia, and we'd like to have you guys up there.
This hick wants to hang 10 to impress his friends.
Heck, I'd like to try that, but they won't let me have a skateboard.
That's because sidewalk surfing is dangerous if you're drunk.
All right, guy in the blue right there.
Eventually, the skateboarders give in.
All I'd like to say is, I'd love to use it. We can do it. Let's do it. Come on. Woo! Yeah! Get up there. You're the man. Jump up.
But Bobby needs a little coaxing.
Yeah! Come on! Bobby Black!
Finally, he gathers the nerve.
Do it!
But who's going to gather his teeth? For once in his life, Bobby used his head. Too bad it was to break his fall.
He knows how to crash a party.
A couple of skaters remove Sleeping Beauty from the ramp
Get him up, dog.
and try to remember their CPR.
No, turn him over on his side.
Eventually, Bobby recovers
All right, what's going on here?
and asks for his medicine.
What's up with that?
But before someone passes him a bottle, he passes out again. Seems this redneck's quest for fame became his moment of shame.
Up next, when totally outrageous behavior continues. An absent-minded sailor is swept off his feet by a revved-up jet engine. Plus, this man might wear the pants in his family, but his new bride wears the teeth. And later, a zoned-out zookeeper wonders, who turned out the lights? When totally outrageous behavior returns.
Here's former naval officer J.D. Bridges walking through his hometown airport. But it's amazing he'd get anywhere near an airplane, considering what happened to him just a few short years ago. J.D. and his team were working on the deck of the USS Theodore Roosevelt.
I was training new recruits to take my job, launching the aircraft off the catapult.
But when J.D. approaches the engine, he forgets the first rule of working on an aircraft carrier. Duck. In a flash, J.D. is sucked into the revved-up engine.
It was a mental error on my part. When I got sucked into the intake, it sucked off my helmet, my gloves, my coat, which shot out a fireball out the back. The topside petty officer seen it and told the pilot to shut the plane down, and within a minute, I crawled back out and then I blacked out.
J.D. is incredibly lucky and suffers only minor scrapes and bruises.
My helmet went through the intake, which pretty well, I think, saved my life. Most people that have been sucked into an engine, I think, got turned into chopped liver.
Today, J.D. makes it a point to stay out of aircraft engines. An important life lesson that he intends to pass on to his son, Blade.
Named him Blade for the simple fact his father almost got chopped up by the blades in the intake, and it just kind of fit him.
A young couple prepares to exchange wedding vows. This is the happiest day of their lives, a memory that they will cherish forever. They take sweet sips from a golden chalice. But the bride seems upset by something in the wine. Her front teeth. She remembered something old, something new, and something blue. Maybe she should have borrowed some denture glue. Now the groom really needs a drink. The bride prays that there is no tape in the camera as the minister concludes, "Speak now or forever hold your teeth." Florida's Miccosukee Indian Village is famous for one thing: alligator wrestling. And around here, that's no crock. This angry reptile is over 12 feet long, but has a brain the size of a peanut, just like gator wrestler Kenny Cypress. Kenny gets down and dirty with these man-eaters 3 times a day. But during this performance, the reckless wrestler decides to try something new by sticking his head inside the gator's mouth. Big mistake. Looks like this critter's got a crush on Kenny. Kenny struggles to get free while rescuers rush in to help.
Get the wood! Get the wood!
But he may need the jaws of life to escape the gator's grip. Eventually, they pry Kenny loose. It seems the lizard keeper forgot wrestler rule number 1. Wipe both sides of your face, because if a single drop of sweat hits a gator's tongue, it triggers its powerful jaws. And what was going through the reptile wrangler's head, aside from razor-sharp teeth?
Inside the gator's mouth smelled like rotten chicken.
Funny, the gator thought Kenny tasted like chicken.
I'm glad I couldn't move my mouth, because everybody would heard me screaming like a woman.
Amazingly, Kenny didn't say, "See you later, alligator." The next day, he's back at work and back in the saddle. But this clueless cowboy had better be careful, or the next time he gets chewed out at work, it might not be a laughing matter. Welcome to the television show Potluck, Australia's answer to Star Search. Perhaps what she should be looking for is a new career. Today on Potluck, we're in luck.
Act 1, 7, 27.
Dancer Todd Rickson is making his television debut. Wanting to look good, he's pulled his favorite shirt out of mothballs. Too bad the moths got to it first.
It was a pretty sexy outfit.
All right, Todd Rickson, act number 6.
Todd takes the stage, ready to become a star. He begins with a moonwalk. Good choice. Never seen that before. Then he follows it with a nice spin move, trying to dry off his flop sweat into the mandatory bump and grind. Followed by some more spins, then some classic disco steps. He's right up to date here. Todd's really winning him over. Couple of big kicks. The pants are holding up just fine. And now for his big finish. Todd kicks himself in the head. The stunned dancer tries to continue, but these moves aren't part of the act. Much to Todd's and the audience's relief, the host stops the show.
Oh, I think he's done a hamstring there. You all right? Never mind, mate. Well, I think we'll just take a commercial break, I think, and we'll be back after that break, and we'll explain what's happening.
When the show returns, the judges confer and decide that Todd's chances of winning are 1 in 50. But that was before his recent head injury. After years of rehabilitation, Todd makes a full recovery.
And then,
See? Good as new.
Coming up next, get ready for the most outrageous moment ever caught on tape. When totally outrageous behavior continues.
At a zoo in Mexico, a daydreaming worker sweeps out the elephant pen. But he ignores the first rule of elephant care. Watch your back. Or at least watch the elephant's back. Now he's packed into a pachyderm. Eventually, the elephant squeezes him out. Thanks to this butthead's stupid behavior, it's a day he'll never forget.